We're here today with Motormouth Arabia with the Ferrari F8 Spyder. It's the drop-top version of the F8 Tributo, which you'll read about elsewhere and see a video of on the website. This is a 3.9 litre twin-turbo V8, and as you might recognise from some of the details, the headlamps and some of the lines, this is the new, let's say, evolution of the 488. It's an entirely new model, but it takes a lot of inspiration and a lot of the knowledge and technology from that 488. But plus it also has a lot of extra input from the 488 Pista, the race schooled variant of the original 488. Certain details such as the scoop in the bonnet are very reminiscent of that. There are various settings. Purists might be a little bit sad to see there's no Corsair setting, but it's not going to affect your enjoyment too much, hopefully, unless you're taking it on track. You still have a race setting. We're just in sport here, which pretty much gives you everything you need on a regular day-to-day drive. And you also have the wet setting for those 2 or 3 days a year in Dubai where there's rain on the roads. And of course, as always, you can CT off and ESC off. So if you are taking it on track, it's not recommended to do that when you're not on track on the regular roads, but it will give you that full driver experience where the driver aids are not stopping you from, let's say, having the more fun parts of the experience as a Ferrari owner. And I think every dyed-in-the-wool Ferrari owner will tell you that those are the settings that you really need to use to get the full fat out of this car. There's a few just very small niggles that I've had with the car. The parking sensors, very, very sensitive, and sometimes you'll be in traffic and it starts going off. Earlier I was parked, just regular street parking with the engine idling, and for some reason the parking sensors were going off wildly even though we weren't moving, and we weren't even that close to the curb, so it's not ideal. And so one of my driving impressions of the F8 Spyder I was reminded of just manoeuvring a little bit here is that strangely the turning circle for a sports car seems very wide. I don't know whether the stats bear that out, but it's certainly not the kind of car you want to be doing quick U-turns and 3-point turns in. Again, this is obviously a minor thing for a car that you're mostly going to be going in a straight line and round corners very fast in, obviously within the laws of the road. But yeah, other than that, the handling is incredibly crisp. There's a heaviness to the steering that you really don't get with a lot of supercars. I won't name any names to make any enemies on that one, but sometimes you feel like you'd almost drive with your thumbs for some cars, but the Ferrari F8 Spyder has a really nice, like old school heavy feel to the steering, which makes you feel much more connected to what you're driving. It just makes you feel like you're putting the car really where you want it on the road, which is always good when you're going over speed bumps. Visibility, rear visibility is a little bit problematic. We do have 360 cameras, which I believe is a new innovation for this level model. Helpful in car parks for sure, but it's not infallible, I would say. So you do need to keep your wits around you when you're manoeuvring. So yeah, as every Ferrari, people are going to know you're arriving in this car. The V8 pushes out a nice little note. Possibly occasionally you're just hoping for a little bit more, especially at low revs. But if you do want to hear a little bit more while you're driving, if you're not outside the car, which is the best place to be, inside the car, it does have a little window at the back here at the press of the button that will come down when you've got the top up, so you can actually hear the engine note more while driving in your air-conditioned bubble. There's all the home comforts you would expect from a Ferrari. This isn't, the Ferraris of old. You can drive this for 1,000 miles and you still won't be walking out with a bad back, apart from the point where you have to get out, which is always awkward the older you get. There's a few little details that maybe could do with some fine tuning. Some of the parking sensors and the cameras, like this, slightly spoils the lines, I would say, slightly on the wing mirror. And the parking sensors aren't always quite as fine-tuned as you might hope for a 1 million dirham motor. The CarPlay is a nice little addition for Ferraris, but again, it's not always quite synced up perfectly. But these are very small things, and to be honest, if you're putting music on while driving this car, you're doing it wrong.